Growing up in the United States in the 1980s and 90s, I really loved computers. But I was only really aware of two different competing platforms. On one end was the IBM PC and its compatibles, and on the other was Apple and Macintosh computers. You were either on one side or the other, never both. At home, it was all IBM PC compatibles, and I always enjoyed the CGA graphics and PC speaker sound effects. At school, I was exposed to Apple computers where I played Oregon Trail on a terrible green screen on an Apple IIe, and eventually messed around with HyperCard on a monochrome Mac. But unbeknownst to me, on another continent, a war was raging between two US-based companies who were duking it out in Europe, Atari and Commodore. They both created competing platforms which blew the Mac and PC away as far as graphics and sound capabilities go. These platforms were the Commodore Amiga and the Atari ST. Even though the Amiga and the ST were far superior as far as graphics and sound goes, and they usually were cheaper than a comparable PC, they just could not gain traction in the United States. So they were not really very popular here. But in Europe, it was a different story. They gained ground quickly, and they quickly became the platform that people developed lots of games for. One thing that always impressed me about the ST in particular was the demo scene. People with crazy sounding pseudonyms would create these graphical pieces of art that would push the system to its max. In 2018, a new demo was created called R0x by Retro Gamer CD. It has a great introduction and some pretty amazing music as well. The images are well drawn. Retro Gamer CD appears to be a group of people who make all sorts of programs for the ST, and here are the people involved in the construction of this demo. CREM, Heavy Stylus, Ilkey, Verbit, all on graphics, Stu, Tau, DMA SC, and Excellence in Art on the music, and Tom Chi for the code and other design. Now I know what you're thinking. Who cares? It's a demo, I've seen millions of them. But this one requires something special.
It's a jag.
A JAGPad, to be precise. Basically, who wants a controller with only one button when you can have a controller with 20 buttons? This is essentially a way to hook up an Atari Jaguar controller to your ST and play your favorite ST games. Now, R0x is a scrolling vertical shoot-'em-up, or shmup. Typical of these kind of games, there are power-ups and things to destroy. The graphics are phenomenal, and the music is well done, but it's very hard and not very forgiving. You die constantly and get sent back right to the beginning if you do so. I am really terrible at these kind of games, but I appreciate that this game exists. Quite a few people put a lot of effort into this, and quite frankly, I'm impressed. So before you even ask, I tried running this game on an Atari ST emulator on my 486. Now the Atari ST emulator works fine and you can open the operating system and it works great. But this particular program does not run at all. So it starts up and runs fine the first little intro splash screen, but then once it gets into it, it crashes. And I think it has something to do with the settings, but I'm not going to toy with it right now. But if I get it going, I'll let you know. You start off with a generic weapon, which you can upgrade by collecting these little P icons. Also, if you get hit, your shield takes damage. Enough damage to your shield, and you explode. So make sure you collect all the S boxes out there to increase your shield. Another thing is you can collect these nukes, which will basically just clear the screen of all enemies. That's the only reason you need the JAGPad, is because of that second button. But it won't recognize a regular joypad, so you have to use a JAGPad. So it's kind of annoying, because they could have just mapped that to one, a button somewhere on the keyboard, but alas, it's fine. You can emulate the JAGPad just using the emulator, so it's not a big deal. One tiny gripe I have about this game is that when your shield gets low, it has this really annoying beep. And it won't go away until you either die or you pick up a shield. So that would be helpful if it just beeped for like maybe 10 seconds or something. Additionally, there are some enemies you cannot kill. You have to just avoid them. So it becomes kind of a bullet hell situation, dodging these little bullets and the little enemies too. So that's kind of fun too. I'm terrible at that, but it's fun. Another good thing about this game is that you do not need to mash the fire button. You just hold it down. So there's no turbo button required. You just push and hold down the button, which is really helpful because it seems like there's endless waves of enemies. Now, I don't know for certain that there's endless waves of enemies. I only got to level 196, but if it goes higher than that, I don't know. But I'm not going to play it again right now because I didn't get this video out. So all in all, it's a fun little program. Download it from the link below and have some fun. Anyways, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.